Hello, in this video we will learn fundamentals of database, structured query language, database management system, client-server architecture, relational database management system, MS SQL and SQL Management Studio. Let's get started. What is database? A database is an organized collection of or structured information or data, typically stored electronically in a computer system. It is controlled by a database management system, which along with the applications associated with it is referred to as a database system. Databases are designed to efficiently store, manage, modify, update, control, and organize data. Structured query language is a use to writing and querying data. The primary differences between databases and spreadsheet include the way data is stored and manipulated, who can access the data, and the amount of data that can be stored. Databases are capable of holding much larger collection of organized information and allow multiple users to access and query the data using complex logic and language. In simpler terms, a database is essentially an organized collection of data stored and accessed electronically on a computer system. Imagine it like a giant filing cabinet, but instead of folder and paper, it uses digital storage and software to manage information. This structure allows for efficient searching, sorting, and analysis of data. Common uses of databases include e-commerce websites, social media platforms, banking system, and library catalogs. What is SQL? SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, is a domain-specific language used in programming for managing data in relational database management system or relational data stream management systems. It is designed for handling structured data where relations exist between different entities variables. SQL encompasses data query, manipulation, definition, and access control. SQL is essential for working with databases used widely in industries for data analysis, application development, and management. On defining and manipulating data rather than just querying it. It is a powerful tool for managing and organizing data in databases, widely used in applications worldwide. Relational SQL databases store data in tables with rows and columns, representing records and data fields respectively. Standardized ANSI and ISO standardized SQL core commands like select, update, delete, insert will remain consistent across database systems. Scalable SQL databases handle various data types and large amount of data, suitable for diverse applications from small to large scale systems. Queries retrieve specific data using conditional and filters. Schemas predefined structure for data, including data types and table relationships. Transactions execute operation as a single unit of work for data integrity. Data integrity constraints enforce data accuracy, reliability, and consistency using constraints like primary case, foreign case, etc. Join combine rows for multiple tables based on related columns using various types of joins. What is database management system? Database management system oversees structured data collections, acting as a central hub for storage, organization, and retrieval. It facilitates data creation and management, tools for defining database structures and manipulating data, data security, access control to safeguard sensitive information, data integrity, enforcement of rules to maintain accuracy and consistency, data retrieval, support for query languages like SQL to efficiently extract information, performance optimization, techniques such as indexing and caching for efficient operation, backup and recovery, mechanism to prevent data loss and restore from the backups. In essence, a database management system manages data storage, security, integrity, retrieval, performance, and recovery, ensuring vital functions for users and applications. The client-server architecture. The client-server architecture in SQL Server delineates the interaction between a client application and the server-side SQL Server software, facilitating efficient data exchange. Client application. The front-end interface where user interaction occur, initiating requests to the server. For operations like data retrieval or updates, SQL Server hosts the SQL Server software, managing client requests and database operations. Communication protocols facilitate client-server communication over the network, including shared memory, TCP/IP, namespaces, and SQL Server Network Interface. Operation workflow with authentication and SQL queries. Client initiates request with authentication. The client application sends a request along with authentication controls to the SQL Server for data manipulation or retrieval. For instance, querying username and password. Upon receiving the request, the SQL server verifies the authentication condition provided by the client. This ensures that only authorized users can access database. After successful authentication, the server parses SQL statements to understand the client's request and executes the appropriate queries. For instance, querying a customer's orders. The SQL server sends the query results or operation confirmations back to the client. For instance, if querying for orders, the client application receives the response from the SQL server and interprets it accordingly, updating the user interface or taking necessary action based on the data received. Relational Database Management System. A relational database management system is a type of the database management system that stores data in tables, which are organized into rows and columns. Each table represents a different kind of entity, and the columns represent attributes of those entities. The power of a relational database management system comes from its ability to efficiently retrieve and manipulate data to the relationships between tables, typically using a language like SQL. Here's how the example can be converted to a three-table database involving student coursing and their credit grades. In this structure, the grades table acts as a junction that links students and courses in foreign case. This allows for the association of students with the courses they are taking and their respective credits. In a non-relational database setup, the grades table would need to include all the details about students and courses directly within it, leading to redundant data. Without relational database, the grades table would repeat student's name, course's name, and other attributes for each grade entry. With relational database, the grades table contains only student's ID and course ID, which point to the respective tables without repeating the actual data. This design ensures that each piece of information is stored only once, reducing storage space and simplifying updates. If a student's names or a course's details change, you only need to update one record in the respective table, and all related entries in the grades table remain accurate and consistent. In summary, foreign case in a relational database provide a way to reference data across different tables, which prevents unnecessary repetitions and maintains data integrity. What is MS SQL? It is a relational database management system developed by Microsoft. Imagine a digital filing cabinet where you can store information in structured tables with rows and columns. MS SQL exists at organizing, managing, and querying this data. Here are the common uses to MS SQL: websites and applications, e-commerce platforms, customer relationship management, inventory control, financial reporting, and business intelligence and data analysis. Some key strengths of MS SQL include providing high performance and stability, robust security features, ensuring data integrity, advanced querying and reporting tools for effective data extraction and analysis, as well as a relatively user-friendly interface for database management. What is SQL Server Management Studio? SQL Server Management Studio is a free tool developed by Microsoft specifically for managing MS SQL databases. Think of it as the user interface for interacting with your data storage in MS SQL. With SQL Server Management Studio, you can create, manage, and delete databases, work with database objects like tables and stored procedures, backup and restore databases, write and execute SQL queries, and generate reports. It's an essential tool for MS SQL database administrators, developers, and data analysts. Until this stage of the training, we have learned what a database is, introduced the SQL querying language and learned its basic features, learned what a database management system is, learned how database management systems work with client-server architecture, learned about relational databases and their advantages, learned the purpose of MS SQL and SQL Server Management Studio. In the next stage, we will install MS SQL and SQL Server Management Studio software and write basic SQL codes. I hope you are all enjoying our SQL training session so far. I wanted to inform you that our SQL training will continue in future sessions, and I am excited to dive deeper into this essential skill together. I understand that some of you might have been using MS SQL and SQL Server Management Studio for completing the exercises. However, I want to assure you that for our future trainings, there is no need to rely solely on these specific tools. You can achieve the same functionality and practice your SQL skills effectively using online coding platform. Online coding platforms provide convenient and accessible environment for practicing SQL queries, data manipulations, and database management tasks. They offer interactive interfaces where you can write SQL queries, execute them, and see immediate results, just like you would in MS SQL or SQL Server Management Studio. I will be sharing resources and link to recommended online coding platforms where you can practice SQL outside of our sessions. Feel free to explore these platforms and use them to reinforce your learning. Thank you for watching.